Hi, Joe here from Shutter Speed Photography. Very nice to see your smiling face here on YouTube. And I would like to give you this lens. So stick around and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But first, well, what was that lens? So Laowa, which is part of Venus Optics, sent me out their 8 to 16 millimeter f3.5 to 5 Dreamer lens. It's a low dispersion lens. Laowa, their lens is very high quality, first off, and I want to say like they're almost geared to the scientific. For example, the Laowa 100mm is one of my favorite lenses. It's a macro lens, 2:1 zoom ratio, super sharp, you know, just a fantastic solid built lens. And this is no exception, all metal body, okay? You know, you can just feel from the weight of it, it's just a real solid lens. Okay, so this again is no exception. So let me tell you a little bit about it. Like I said, 8 to 16 millimeter, which means to you, full frame equivalent would be about 12.5 millimeters. So that's super wide, covering almost at its wide end 121 degrees. So super wide, all right? So 16 elements in this lens in 12 groups, 5 aperture blades, giving you a 10-point starburst for starbursts in your images on light sources. Minimum of focus distance of 0.2 meters. And I'll show you an example of that, of some things I was able to do because of the close focusing distance of this lens. Filter size is 86 millimeter. Full metal lens body, weighs 463 grams. I think that's like 1.2 pounds or so. And it's available for Sony E, Fuji X, Nikon Z, Canon R, plus EF and M mounts. So this, of course, is a Nikon Z lens. Again, real solid lens, real nice, but it is fully manual. So you have your focus ring, you have your focal length ring and your aperture ring with also this handy dandy click switch. So switching from smooth to click based aperture changes, which filmmakers tend to really like. It does come with the lens cap. See, that's very small, but with a lens this wide angled or such a wide field of view, generally you're always going to have a very small hood because it could just get in the way of the picture and they end up in the picture. So that's kind of normal. Who's it for? Well, again, it is crop sensor, so ZFC, Z30, Z50, but I would say this lens is going to excel at architecture, maybe real estate photography, and definitely landscapes. Again, it is fully manual, so although it will perform really well for real estate, unless you had a lot of time at each location, maybe a manual focus lens is not the best choice for real estate photography, but it, as you'll see in the examples, it does a really solid job. Now, one of the features that you want for a lens that is going to excel at architecture is straight lines. That's crucial, and this lens is amazing at that, and you're going to see that. Okay, so you know, that being said, again, landscape, super wide angle, architecture, and possibly real estate photography would be a great choice for this lens, or anything geared towards the scientific again. And manual focus, you know, don't be afraid of it. Once you get the hang of it with focus peaking on the Nikon Z cameras, it's pretty much an easy task. It might take you a hot minute to get used to it, but once you are used to it, you can nail focus pretty quickly with this lens. Price point, I believe, is $549, which is pretty reasonable for such a wide angle lens. But of course, as I mentioned, it is a fully manual lens. Hey, let's take a look at how it performs, and we'll also talk about how I can give you this lens, because I am definitely going to give it to one of you. So let's take a look at it a little bit. Okay, a couple of things I did want to show you from the Laowa website. Angle of view almost 121 degrees, which is mind-blowingly wide. Okay, so that's real nice, and at 16 millimeter, 82.8 degrees field of view. And just a few sample images. One of the nice things, you can get 10-point sun stars because of those 5 aperture blades. And we can see that like here, like some nice examples of what that's going to look like. So that is one nice feature of this lens. That is something that I didn't get the opportunity to test out and capture, but I did want you to see that. So let's take a look at some actual sample images that I put together for you so we can see how this lens performs. Okay, so this was taken at, of course, 8 millimeter, and you can see how we have that ultra wide view there. That looks really, really nice, and we do have some really great straight lines in this image, and no real bowing or anything that's substantial at the corners. Just a real nice looking edge. Now, I did notice a little bit of bowing here and there on some images, but nothing that, like I said, it would really not be reflective of any lens shooting it at 8 millimeter. So the real question is, can we get straight lines? And yes, the question is, we're definitely seeing very, very straight lines. If you look at the lines in this image here, you'll see that we are dealing with some real nice straight lines, and that looks really good. Now, I do see a little bit of bow in here, just a tiny bit, and we could probably easily correct that here in Lightroom. And here again, straight lines, this is super close, and I see a little bit of bowing down at the lower edge, but as we get to the middle, we are seeing, again, super straight lines. And, we could go in with the crop tool just to really visualize this. Let me get the crop tool on here. And you can see there, yeah, super straight lines. So we can literally just follow those lines up, and I might need to straighten this image. Maybe I wasn't holding it perfectly straight, but if I do line that up, you can see there, looking at the building, all the lines of the building are just super straight. So yeah, does a nice job. Again, a little bit of curvature, I think, in here, but not anything significant. But yeah, looking really, really good. And probably right about there or so would be pretty straight and level. Let's take a look at some other stuff. And here, again, just looking at that straight line, looking at the edge there, and that looks great. So, and this is really what we're looking for, straight line here, straight line here. So if you're doing architecture, if you're doing real estate photography, that's key, having straight lines. Take a look at another image, and just real nice reproduction from this lens. We're getting very sharp images. And again, this is manual focus, and it takes a hot minute to get used to it. But the lens does take a nice picture, and that's really what's important here. And again, let's look at straight lines. So we have a train here, and again, look at that super straight line right there, right? And that's, again, straight line, and that's what you want to see in in a real estate or architectural photograph. And I think that's where this lens would really excel. And it definitely does a great job. And I don't really notice any significant bowing here in this image. And, super happy with that. Let's go wide again, landscape mode. And yeah, so again, straight lines right to the edges. You can see that's a straight line right there. Straight line right there, straight line. Maybe, again, is there a little bowing in here? If there is, I don't notice it. This looks like a pretty straight line to me right here. So, again, for landscapes and going super wide, I'm happy with this. I think the lens does a great job. All right, this is just a little fun one that I did. This was inside one of the museums, one of their displays. So I kind of converted it into a little old-time feel image. And again, the camera just, because of its ability to focus close, it's got that 0.2 meter close focusing distance. I was able to capture this image of a little scene of the circus back in, the 1920s or whenever it was. And because I could get up super close, I could make this fun image. And let's look again at some more architectural stuff. And And again, yeah, it's just doing a nice job. Straight line, straight line, straight pole, straight line, straight edge right there, straight edge right there, straight line, no noticeable bowing in this image at all. Again, straight line right there, straight line. So we're looking at the corners in particular, and I'm super close right here, and maybe there's a little bit of compression right in this corner, maybe, but again, I mean, at 8mm, that's really great that you know, it looks this way. And again, you know, we may, if that really bothered you, and that's really nitpicking, you could definitely fix that in Lightroom. So, but again, that's just nitpicking at that point. I think in terms of doing what this lens is built to excel at, I think it does it well. All right, so I hope that this video has helped you out if you're looking for this type of lens, and it's helped you make a good purchase decision. Now, I mentioned I'm going to give one of you this lens. How do you enter? Well, pretty simple. You're just going to look down in the video description here on YouTube for the link, and just click on that link and you can enter. You can enter every day. So one of the other things I just want to mention, there is a Nikon Z Facebook group that I do run, so we can continue that conversation over on Facebook. So look for the link for that and feel free to join. As always, I just want to say thank you for watching. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you watching. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thanks, YouTube. Bye-bye.